Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, what is up? Topping123 here once again with another video for you guys. And today's not really a channel blog, it's not really a channel vlog, not a channel update. And first off, I would like to apologize because I know this video is going to be over 10 minutes. I'm recording it in one take, but I'm really tired. It's 11:53 at night. After everything I've gone through today, I got home and just collapsed and went to sleep. And I just woke up like 20 minutes ago and I am still tired. But I had an idea of explaining my experience about the HTC Vive and telling you guys about everything I've gone through to get one HTC Vive and then that breaking and having to get another one. And the one that broke, I only had for one day. So I thought I would tell you guys a story about this. And like I said, I apologize about this. I know the video is going to go over 10 minutes because this is my 6th time trying to record this thing. And every time I try it goes over 10 minutes, so I just keep deleting the old one. So I'm just going to stick with it and just do the best I can to keep it as short as possible. So I'm sorry that it's going to go over 10 minutes. So now, basically time to start the story. So I was on a website that does a lot of auctions and buy it now things. And by the way, I'm not actually going to specify website and company names because I'm part of a network and I don't know how that network would feel about me saying the names of the companies and the networks and so on. Or companies and groups, even though I'm with a network. So, back to what I was saying. So I went on this website that does a lot of auctions, a lot of buy it now stuff, and I found an HTC Vive on there, totally brand new for $499.95. Or I think it was $499.99. It was one of those two. 5 cents doesn't really make that much of a difference. So I went ahead and placed my bid on it, and I was shocked. I won it like no one else bid on it. And I checked the description and everything before I bid. It says totally brand new. Brand new, still in box, never used. And the guy even in the description said he bought it for his cousin or something, and it's never been used. He didn't want it, or his computer didn't run it, or something like that. And I was like, oh, sweet. So I ended up waiting like a week. It was supposed to be there in 4 or 5 days. I waited a week, and I checked the tracking, and the tracking showed that it actually like vanished in transit. And at first, I was scared, like horrified, scared. Called the company that does the shipping that he sent it through, and they said that that's normal. You know, sometimes when you send packages that far, they'll stop tracking for a couple days. And I waited like 4 more days, and still nothing. So finally, I just said, okay, if it's not here in a couple days, I'll contact the group and ask them if I need to submit a missing item or what. And finally, it actually arrived. It was about a week late, but it finally got here, so I was happy. So I took it out of the box. Everything seemed perfectly fine out of this blue and white box. I was so excited. And later on, I found out this was not a new product. When I was going through the Steam VR setup, and it actually has a tutorial game, when I started playing this thing, I noticed that whenever it's going through the tutorial, there's one option that tells you how to turn 4 buttons, or 1 button into 4 buttons. So I started messing with that. And one controller, it let me do it. One controller, I couldn't do it. So I was really confused about this, and I took my headset off and started tapping it along with the R buttons and realized the button was sticking. So after realizing that, I was like, you know what, that is not that big a deal. I have waited for an HTC Vive for almost 4 years now. I think 3 or 4 years they've been out. I've wanted one since day one when the Oculus Rifts started coming out, but I wanted an HTC Vive more, in my opinion, whenever I first saw them. So it's my first VR headset. I was so excited. So I got everything set up, and I started immediately playing the games I had preloaded on my computer, pre-bought everything. I started playing Job Simulator, Onward, the Rick and Morty game. My favorite game out of all of them, in terms of just amazing and astonishing visuals, was the Apollo 11 VR experience. I think that's the exact name of it. The Apollo 11 VR experience I got off the Vive Port subscription thing. That was the most amazing, most beautiful game I have ever played in my life. I mean, I wasn't crying, but when I got done and took the headset off, I didn't realize it, but I had tears coming out of my eyes from just like the astonishment and the beauty of it. I mean, it was amazing, you know, and I played War Thunder. I loved it, and I didn't realize it, but I had been playing already for like 9 hours. And I was really shocked because I thought these controllers were only supposed to hold charge for like 4 hours, but I got 9 hours out of this thing before they started dying. So I put them on charge, turned everything off, went to bed, and I woke up that morning. I thought, okay, time for more VR. here and I'll start doing videos. And the gameplay you see in the background was my one video I did on this HTC Vive from hell. Because that day when I got up and was going to start doing that, one of the base stations was flashing red. And I contacted HTC Vive support to see what was going on. After I unplugged it, plugged it back in, tried changing channels, did the long cable around my room, you know, taped it on the wall just to test it before I did nails or anything, and nothing worked. So I contacted them, and they told me it was actually some type of error called like an axis failure or something, and I needed to just either... They wanted me to send it in for repairs, or I could do more troubleshooting, which I did, and it fixed it for like 20 minutes, but failed again. So I ended up just simply calling the company back. The group that sold it, or the guy went through this group of this website to sell it on the auction. Contacted them. They said, we recommend you set up a return immediately, and that's what I did. I said I wanted to return. The guy responded. He said, okay, I'll give you your money back and everything. So I went ahead, took everything down, put it all in the box, and was getting ready to ship it off. And I thought, you know, I really want this thing. I'm going to look online on another website that does 2-day shipping and see when's the earliest they can get it here and see if I can get it from them. So I looked, and I found it for the same thing. $699 is how much it cost on there. Same headset though, same box on the picture and everything. And ignore that clicking sound. I had a computer thing pop up. Anyway, I'm sorry. So back to what I was saying. So the website ended up telling me just to return it, and then the 2-day shipping website, I found it on there, and it was for $699. No, $599. Yeah, $599.99, totally brand new. And if I wanted 1-day shipping, it would be here the next day, which would have been 2-day. And wait, no, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. I got the new HTC Vive today. The other one would have been tomorrow. So with the 1-day shipping, I ended up just like, okay, fine, I will do that. So I wanted it so bad. I went to a loan and finance company and ended up getting a loan for $600 because once this headset gets returned, I'm going to get the money back anyway. So I'm just going to go that route and then use that money to pay off most of the finance company and then just give them like 1 or 2 payments and be done and totally add debt to them. So my credit card, it's a $700 credit card, and I had $630 available at the time, and I was just going to pay it off anyway, like in a day or two. So I thought, okay, I'll go ahead and pay it off and use the card, and I can get, you know, some cash back. And of course, even though it was like $7, the card itself had no balance anymore. It was totally paid off, but the available credit was $7 less than what I needed for the headset. $7. So I went on Amazon. I thought maybe it would go through. It's done that a couple times if it's a couple dollars over what's available, and they just flat out rejected it. Would not let it go through. And I guess it might have been because it was such a big amount, and I called the credit card company. They tried to push it through. They couldn't. They recommended me just to do a $500 gift card purchase on that 2-day shipping website, where I would just do $500 gift card on my bank credit card, and then I would do $165 on my checking account card. So I went ahead and did the $165 first. That went through perfectly fine like that. And then I tried the $500 one, and I had like 3 hours left to get the 1-day shipping where it would have been here on Saturday, tomorrow, and it just would not go through. Like, it just sat there. And it was like 15 minutes left. I called this website and I said, what is going on? I got 15 minutes left to order it to get it here on time. What's going on? And they told me that because it was such a big gift card, they would have to verify it, and they could not tell me how long it could take. And the guy told me that he's sometimes seen them take like 12 or 13 hours to go through. So I told him to straight up cancel that $500 gift card if he could, which he did. It had not come out of my credit card yet. So I had $500 still on there, and they were going to refund the $165, and it still left me like a couple hundred, like $300 or $400, I think, on my checking account card. So, next part of the story, at this point I was really upset about it, really just not really furious, but more angry that I've experienced it after waiting for years, after waiting for like 4 years for this thing and not being able to get it. So I thought, okay, my chances of getting this until, you know, I send this back are probably very, very nil. Very just non-existent. And I started thinking, you know, I wonder if anywhere's going to carry these things, which I've never really seen them in a store ever. And I go to a lot of stores around here. They're big franchise places, big marts of stores, and great buys that sell electronics of sorts, and game stores that you stop at, if you get what I'm saying. And I called all these stores. I called 9 or 10 different ones, and every single one of them were saying, no, we don't carry that kind of thing, they're so expensive. Or some of these places, they never even heard of them, especially the big mart of sorts, and they never heard of it. Anyway, so they never heard of it, and what ended up happening was, hang on here, I got a text message, let me just tell them I'm busy, sorry. So what ended up happening was, after I not messaged, I'm not even thinking now, I'm sorry. So after finally calling the 10th place, they told me, and it was that game store of stopping at, they finally told me, yes, we have one in stock, and you can come pick it up whenever you want. So at this point, I was getting my fingers crossed. I was hopeful. So I drove up to this place. It was like an hour drive away compared to the 5-minute drive it takes me to get to my local one. And I went up there, and I was really nervous standing in line if this is going to be okay, if this is going to be the right one. And I went up to the counter, told him, I'm here for my HTC Vive. He said, you're the one I spoke to on the phone. All right, let me go get it. Came back out with it. And at first I was actually really confused, because the box that I got was this big white and blue box that was the first HTC Vive. I was like, are you sure that's it? And it's got everything in it. He said, yeah, everything. I was like, okay. So this is the point where I started thinking this guy may not have sold me a new one. And anyway, I bought it, split it between my bank card and my credit card, paid off my credit card again, walked out of there with the thing. I got to my truck, and I wanted to just double check this packaging. And I was so mad. Like, my heart sank. On the package, on the very front of it, I saw a label and said, requires VR controller. And I was like, oh my god. So I walked straight back in there with it. And he said, you're back in already? And I said, yep, I may have misread this here. And I said, I looking on here, it says requires VR controllers. And I thought this had the whole kit. And he said, it should. Double check it. And I looked down at it, and I said, requires VR and I realized I was so tired after everything I've gone through today, I read it wrong. It says requires VR computer. I said, never mind. It says requires VR computer. Thank you. I will see you later. And walked right back out, and we were all chuckling a little bit about it. I drove straight home, took this thing out of the box, and I realized the box that this guy sent me was actually for an HTC Vive Pre. And I contacted HTC again, gave them all the numbers, all the information, and they said it's actually a refurbished model. It was actually a refurbished model that somebody bought from them. So that's what happened. So now, after I ended up going through that route, I brought it home, took it out of the box, and put everything up, and then put all that other stuff from the old HTC back in that box, threw it in that box and everything, and before I started playing, I wanted to go ahead and get rid of this thing. I print the shipping label out, put it on the box, and I ended up saying, okay, I'm sending this thing off. I get to the post office, and I realized I put black duct tape on the bottom of the box because the tape on it was already falling off. The guy just didn't do a good job packing it, and I was like really surprised that it hadn't fallen through in transit when I first got it. So, thankfully, I caught a break there. The United States Mail Service gentleman was nice enough to actually go and just take the duct tape off and put like priority mail tape over it. And I don't know if that actually was allowed or not, but they were nice and did that. I sent it off. Then I had to go to physical therapy, so I did physical therapy for an hour, came straight back here, and I started hooking everything up. and I hooked everything up, and I have been playing it for like 10 hours now, and I have not had any of the same problems. I fingers crossed I don't have any of the same problems, because this one actually has a 1-year manufacturer's warranty with HTC and a 30-day if anything goes wrong with a return through that game stopping of sorts of company. So yeah, that's my story of the HTC Vive from hell, of everything that I have gone through in the past like 48 hours just trying to get this headset and everything. And I mean, I am just tired and really just glad I finally got it working. Glad I finally got one that works. And fingers crossed that in another 12 hours this one doesn't break. So anyway, guys, that's my story. I'm sorry it took 16 minutes, but if you guys get a Vive, I would highly recommend you guys just buy a new one. Do everything you can to make sure it's a new one, and buy a totally new one from somewhere, because I have a feeling that if I had bought a new one, I would not have had any of this problems. Like, I know the guy said it was new and it wasn't my fault because I thought I was getting a new one. But if there is anything suspicious about it, make sure you contact the company first and ask them to double check and make sure this thing's new before you actually do anything. And that's pretty much it. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I am really sorry that this video was 16 minutes long, or really closer to 20 minutes. I did not mean for it to take this long. I did everything I can to shorten it, but this story is just so long and so full of just problems happening with it, I couldn't get it under the 10-minute mark. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I will have some VR videos coming out soon. If you guys enjoyed this story of my HTC Vive from hell, make sure you guys end up hitting that like button if you enjoyed it. And if you guys have any questions or just any comments in general, or recommendations on how I can make my channel more, make you guys enjoy my channel a little bit more, let me know. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time.